Okay, Brother Jacobs, you said I have a better sense of the auras of others. Yes, exactly. Because that's one of the things in which that happens when you increase your energy levels is that you're able to see others' energy levels. So with yours being increased, you're able to see parallel to someone else's energy, in which that will help you gain a greater appreciation and ideology of what is really going on with a person, because the aura is the emotional body. All right, you have your physical body, you have the emotion. Well, let me show you or demonstrate first. You have your physical body, you have your etheric or ethereal body, which is called your doppelganger, which is the body that is about 2 inches above your physical body and it looks just like your physical body. All right. Then you have your emotional body, which is your astral body. Then you have your mental body, your causal body, your spiritual body, and then your soul body. These are the 7 bodies. Okay? And you are a multi-dimensional being. The 3 bodies that survive what we refer to as death is the Aku, the Ka, and the Ba, which is the last 3 bodies. That is your immortal body. That is also referred to as your Holy Trinity. The other 4 bodies dies along with the physical body, or becomes dissolved after many years, several years after the death of the physical body. This is what people actually set up altars for, is to tap into those memories of the beings in which that once held this physical body together. So they would tap into the etheric body. As the etheric body begins to die, also it produces what is called disincarnated beings or shells. Okay, that's what it's referred to as. Disincarnated spirits or shells. That is your lower astral body, which is referred to as your ethereal body. All right. What connects your physical body and your ethereal body and those bodies together is called your silver cord. In the book of Ecclesiastics, they speak of the silver cord. That is actually your ethereal cord. When you go to the Bible, they speak of the silver cord. All right. Then they speak of the golden bowl. The golden bowl actually is the Kundalini. The word Kundalini or Kunta actually means bowl. All right, it means bowl. So that golden bowl is actually the raising of Kundalini to the crown chakra, in which that you develop that golden bowl or that golden disc over your head, in which that is referred to as the yogis as the development of your siddhas, which is your various gifts, which is referred to as higher sensory perception or ESP, extrasensory perception, which is referred to as above your sight, seeing, which is your seeing, your hearing, which is your audio, your touch, your smell, and your taste. All right, the 5 senses that are above those is your psychochemistry, which is the touch. Excuse me. Yeah, let me go out of here. They have a tendency of calling me when they see that I'm on. That's Google. All right. As I was saying, where was I at? No, I was dropping quite a bit of info. All right, the 5 senses. All right, so you have psychochemistry, which is the higher sense of touch, clairvoyance, which is the higher sense of hearing, clairsentience, which is the highest sense of smell, clairgustance, which is the higher taste of tasting, sense of tasting, and clairvoyance, which is the highest sense of seeing. These are the five higher senses of those five that they always tell you about. They don't tell you that you have the ability to tap into higher fives or high five. All right? They teach you the high five as a child. Give me a high five. But they don't never tell you that they are actually high fives. All right? So understand that is that you have the ability in order to go beyond. All right? This also deals with telekinesis, which means able to move objects with your mind. Telepathy or telepathy, which means being able to send thoughts to anyone in which that you choose to in a room or across the world. All right? As well as levitation and those different things. All right? As long as you have a physical body, you have the chance of developing these particular gifts. All right? The yogis, the Buddhists, the Taoists, all of them speaks of developing these gifts, and you can too. All right? There's Africans right now who have developed these particular gifts by mastering what's called the noon, which is the hot fire, which is talking about the Kundalini as it comes up the spinal column through the 31 plus 2 nerves, the Ida and the Pingala, through the Sushumna, which is the hollow area in the spine. And it's not hollow per se. They actually have 31 nerves in which that travels up through. And the color of the Kundalini as it travels up through, creating that warmness, is actually a mercury color, a whitish mercury color. This happens to be the same color in which that they speak about in when you read about Muhammad as he went up into the seventh heaven to meet God face to face. And various angels took him up into each of the several heavens. In the last heaven, which is the seventh heaven, Michael took him up to be in front of Allah. All right, the word Michael means he who dares to be like God. Okay, and he happened to take Muhammad up to the last house or the last realm, density level, cosmic zone, dimension, heaven. All right, that's what all of this is really known as. There's no difference. And as he went there on the night of the Mirage, and Mirage, of course, is another name in which that we know within Arabic, which means an illusion, all right, or something in which that deals with the mind that is taking place. His mind journeyed him up into the seven heavens. Those seven heavens happen to be also atmospheres, as well as they also symbolizes the seven chakras. All right? The first chakra is the base root chakra. The second is the navel. The third is the solar plexus. The fourth is the heart. The fifth is the throat chakra. The sixth is the third eye. The seventh is the crown chakra. All right? Or on top of the head. These are the seven chakras. All right? So, really, what they're talking about is science behind mastering the human anatomy. And by raising yourself up to the crown chakra, you meet Allah face to face. You meet God face to face. And the creature that he went up on his travel, or what took him up in his travel, was called the Baruch. B-U-R-U-Q, Baruch. And Baruch means lightning, white lightning. That white lightning was that whitish mercury substance called Kundalini that took him up through those seven chakras or seven nerve plexus. All right, melanin centers, as they are also referred to as. All right, so the Kundalini has also been called the Umbelini in South Africa. the noon amongst the Dogon, where it speaks about it get hot, quite hot. All right. So these are all these particular names that the ancients have referred to it. In ancient Kemet, they referred to it as Sekhmet. All right. Going up through the Aritus, which the word Arit means lion, and she being a lioness, she was going up through them. Okay. And understand the same story is told in the Enuma Elish, or the Epic of Ishtar, where Ishtar went into the 7 caves, all right, went into the caves in order to find, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Enlil, or either his brother Enki, right? But the same story is told in the book of Coming Forth by Day and Night, where it speaks about Arset going into the 7 caves on her search for Saw. Okay? So these are the same stories told over and over again throughout the many different manuscripts and different religious sects. All right? So just pay attention to these particular things as you do your research and study. You will see how you always come back to some of these same similar stories told over and over again in some shape, form, or fashion, regardless on if it was in one religion or it might be in another. It all comes together, right? That's what happens when you do comparative religious study. Nothing is out of your grasp. Everything in which that you read or talk about here begins to start making sense, because you understand that it all comes together. It all comes together. All right. So just keep that in mind as you read about Reiki, and you see how it comes together as prana within the Sanskrit, as it comes as in China, Chi, Kahuna Mana in Hawaii, Holy Spirit in the Christian belief system, Varel within the Theosophical Society. You know, all these particular words correlate. Ra and Sekhmet, or Sekhmet Ra, you know, within the Kemetic traditions. Okay? Told over and over again, no matter what tradition you go into. Right? So keep this in mind as you do your research and study on what's what. Okay? Now, in Reiki 2, which means Universal Life Force Energy, Reiki 2 deals with two particular symbols, well, three in particular. All right? It deals with what is called the power symbol, which is Choku Rei. All right? The emotional symbol, as we refer to it as, which is Seihei Ki, and the mental symbol, which is called Hashishi Shonen. Right? These three particular symbols are given in Reiki 2. Now, I do Reiki 1, 2, and 3 and put all these symbols into the auric field. Some Reiki masters just simply do the attunement to Reiki 1, which gives the individual the ability in order to heal themselves and do minor work on others, such as maybe headaches, migraines, that type of thing. However, Reiki 2, when you receive these symbols, Choku Rei, Seihei Ki, Hashishi Shonen, these three symbols are given or gives the ability in order to do an attunement on others. So now you can also heal and do an attunement on a Reiki 1 practitioner. All right? It's not until you get the Reiki 3 that you get the last and final symbol, which is called Dekomeo. Now, once again, I give all these symbols in Reiki 1, 2, and 3. There is no pause or no separation of these particular symbols because all these symbols are essential for becoming a healer. Okay? Now, a week and a half ago, the doctor claimed that I had a stroke, but it wasn't. It was what is called a cavernoma, which caused stroke-like symptoms. Now, the thing is that here it is, a week and a half later, I was released last Thursday after 6 days, and I'm walking, talking, no problem. So you got to understand is that, healing is essential. Learning the science of healing is something in which that can make a whole total difference, you know what I'm saying, in your life. It's not something in which that people need to take lightly. All right? I know I don't take it lightly. This is something that I practice every day in some shape, form, or fashion. All right? Reiki healing heals you more than 3 to 5 times quicker, all right, than normal. And if you practice it enough, you can actually do it more than 10 times. All right? But that's for the average person. So, that's something that we have to understand also. All right? Now, the power symbol, which is called Choku Rei, taps into the physical body. So if you need a physical healing, Choku Rei will be the symbol that will be utilized just like a light switch. Where is this coming from? Excuse me, y'all. Okay, apologize for that. We're always calling when trying to do class. Okay, now, all right, as I was saying, Reiki, Universal Life Force Energy, the power symbol, have the ability in order to heal the physical body. The Seihei Ki, which is the emotional symbol, have the ability in order to heal the emotions and even tap into the mental. The Han Shishi Shonin symbol have the ability in order to tap into the mental presently or in a distance. In other words, that symbol can be used in the past, present, or future events, particularly. Now, the other symbols can be utilized also, but that one in particular can go back in time and bridge time and space. So if you had a tragic event in which that took place, you can actually send that symbol back in order to help heal you from what occurred. It could have been 20, 30, 40 years ago. It doesn't matter. All right? Hanshin Shonin has that ability in order to bridge time and space. Now, Dekomeo heals the spiritual aspect of the individual. Right? So you actually gain healing from the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, utilizing these 4 symbols. And to seal in that energy as it's being attuned is called the Raku symbol, or AKU, which looks like a lightning bolt. All right, so this is what these symbols are used for. These symbols was rediscovered by Master Mikao Oshi. Master Mikao Oshi was a Tibetan priest, and he read these particular Tibetan books, or Buddhist books, I should say, he was a Buddhist monk. Let me say it like that, in which that he read these certain books in which that had this information in them which the monks no longer use. Right? The monks are not concerned about healing. All right? They believe their stance is it is as it is. You know, why try to stop the inevitable? All right? That's their belief. You know, I can't say that I per se correlate to that, but I even chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which is the Buddhist chant, which actually symbolizes receiving or obtaining universal consciousness. Okay? Because everything within all religions, or I should say, there's certain things in all religions in which that makes sense, in which that can be utilized if studied and applied. All right? This is why we don't disrespect any religion or practitioner of any religion. All right? Because all religions come from out of Africa. Right? In particular, Buddhism comes from the study of Ptah. All right? The followers of Ptah is what formed Buddhism, which is the worship of Buddha. All right? Buddhism means worship. Ism means worship, which is the worship of Buddha. So, just like when you see the Emmy Awards or the Academy Awards, they're using Asar, which is a form of Ra, as their image for anyone who reached the pinnacle of acting. Right? It's called Oscar, but that is the word taken to the word Asar. And Asar is a form of Ra. So when you receive the Asar or Asar, you actually is receiving Ra. All right? In which that symbolizes the fact of the divine soul. Right? The divine soul inside or embedded inside your pineal gland is Asar, the awoken God, the God who transformed into Heru, the awakened one, or in particular, the awakened soul. Okay, that's what all of this is talking about. Offset really is the Kundalini, as she comes up through the 7 caves or caverns, which is the 7 chakras, the nerve plexus, as she resides at where the soul is embedded at, which is in the 3rd eye, which we refer to also as the 4th eye. And she awakens Asar, who is supposed to be the sleeping God, just like you had Sleeping Beauty. Okay, the Prince Charming comes and kisses her and awakens her from her sleep. All right, same thing. Offset comes and awakens Asar from his sleep, and from the divine merger or divine marriage in heaven, produce Heru, the awoken soul. That is when your soul becomes awakened. All right, to the confines of the physical body, and now is able to journey outside of the physical body into what's called the soul plane. Actually, the soul can travel, biolocate, which actually can do a physical thing and be seen here or anywhere in the world if you so choose to. Astrally, mentally, spiritually, more culturally, spiritually, soulfully, you can travel on all those planes of existence. Okay? Okay? Now, the next bit of information is how to use the symbols. And like we stated before, the symbols can be drawn, choke away, and stated 3 times, recited. It can be whispered, it can be audio or mental. All right, most of the time I whisper it. Seiki, Ashishishonen, Dekomeo, Dekomeo. Okay. Now, each one is said 3 times. Each one is drawn once. So you can draw it in your mind, impose it upon a person, or impress it upon a person, or you can draw it with your fingers like I was showing you, or you can draw it with a pencil and paper. All right, of course, first starting out, draw it with a pencil and paper and get the words down pat. All right, the hardest one for everyone is Hanshishonen. All right. So work on that one the most, because that's the hardest one. Okay. Are there any questions about anything that I've gone over so far? Yes, Jacob said about the bodies. What about them? You need to know the names of those bodies. Okay. You have your physical body. You have your ethereal body, or your etheric body, which is also called your doppelganger, because it looks identical to your physical body. And it sits normally about 2 inches above your physical body. It's part of your astral body, which is your emotional body. So we can say that that's the lower emotional body, which is your ethereal body. Let's put it that way. Your higher emotional body is called your astral body, which is your emotional body. All right, which extends about 3 feet outside of you, which is part of your auric field. That's the one in which that changes colors. When people can see auras and they look at a person's auric field, they can see the different colors of a person's auric field. Right? It looks like a rainbow, or red, RGB, as they say, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Okay. Now, you have your mental body above the emotional body. You have your causal body, which is your higher mental body. Causal, that's Causal, causal body. Then you have your spiritual body, and you have your soul body. So these are the 7 bodies. All right, 4 of them, which is referred to as the 4 devils, dies along with the physical body. So your physical body, when it dies, then after that your ethereal body, then after that your astral body, which is your emotional body, all right, and then after that your mental body. But understand that everything in which that is embedded inside of your mental is passed on into the higher mental, which is your causal. Okay? So those four bodies dies along with the physical body. The three that survive death, called your Holy Trinity, is called your Aku, your Ka, and your Ba, which is your causal body, your spiritual body, and your soul body.
So you cannot have like more than one double gang. What's it called? Double ganger, or
Yeah,
can't
double
have more
ganger.
than one.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, you can have a person on planet Earth that is a doppelganger, which looks like you. Yes, but
Okay.
these are actually clones in which that the experiment is to see which one of y'all can actually reach the highest level or know the most information. That's part of the game.
Okay.
You know, you always have people that always say, "Oh, you look just like so and so and so."
Right. Got a twin. Yeah.
Right, right. You got a twin? Yeah, my cousin looks just like you. You know, or whatever the case is. So you always have a doppelganger, someone who looks like you, in which that both y'all are competing, or y'all are competing actually to see, who achieves the highest level of spirituality.
Okay.
hmm That's really what this is really about. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, the auric colors is concentrated from a particular chakra, which, um, based on which one is permeating at the highest frequency at that time, is what gives off that color. Also, based on your thoughts. Your thoughts resonate the color also. So if you're in the thoughts of, if you was in the thought of healing, then you would imagine the color green. In particular, bright green would be the color that you would imagine. All right, and people will be able to see that bright green in your auric field. Now, how do you see auras? It's real simple. Normally, you need a white background, and you would actually back up to the white background, and you would see over top of the head and around the body that ethereal field that I'm talking about. You might not necessarily see the color as of yet, okay? But if you keep looking, the color will begin to start filling in, and you will start seeing it. All right? Any questions about anything that we're going over? Did I answer all questions, I guess? Okay. Now remember, the aura on the average person is about 3 feet outside of them. So if they actually lift their arms up and go from the front to the side, that actually is about the size of your auric field. All right, you have the outer auric field, which is about that length. It's like an egg shape or bubble. Then as you walk in, about 1.5 feet, you will enter into what's called the health aura. That's where you will feel for leaks and holes at. And you can actually feel that stuff coming through your hands. All right, if your hands is activated fully, you can actually feel it. Okay. Okay, the doppelganger. All right, the doppelganger is your ethereal body, which is the body that's above this physical body, but it looks identical to you on Earth. It's part of the mirror-like impression from the ionosphere. The ionosphere is hundreds of thousands of miles up into the sky. But when you read the Ankh book, it tells you by Nur Ankh Amen and Brother Hiru Samaj, which is the husband of Queen of Four. He does the introduction for the book. But in the book, Nur Ankh Amen speaks about the fact that every impression that is on planet Earth is revealed and produces an impression in the ionosphere. Is a mirror. So no matter how faint an impression is here, it shows up there in the ionosphere. So that means when people speak of heaven, whether they Muslim, Jew, or Hebrew, or Christian, there actually is speaking of the ionosphere. Okay? Now, that's the doppelganger, all right, which is your etheric body, which eventually returns to what's called the realm of form, where that energy is utilized again. All right. Now, I also spoke of a doppelganger as someone who looks like you. They can be what is referred to as a clone. All right. The ancients have a twisted way of trying to see who propels themselves into a particular scenario. I give a good example. A lot of people without my glasses say I look like Ghostface Killer. Now, people know I got knowledge, information. Then the Ghostface, they say, damn, he got knowledge and information too. So it's like a battle between me and him. You know what I'm saying? He's putting out the music. He's been doing that for years. He got the knowledge. He's putting out 5% teachings. He even say he's the Black Noble Dra Ali. You know what I'm saying? So, what can I do in order to compete with that? It's like, okay, well, I got information. Let me put out, what I know. Let's see if that rivals the brothers. You got to understand that sword sharpens sword, iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. Okay. Like I said, the goal of the game, I'm calling it a game. Understand? That's what I'm referring to it as. You know what I'm saying? But everything is competitive and competition in that regard. So the concept is to beat your clone or to beat your doppelganger, your physical doppelganger, that is, here on the physical plane. To be able to reach higher and expand further, all right, than they have. And whoever does that does not have to come back and reincarnate again. For those that don't make it, then they have to reincarnate again on this third-dimensional plane or another third-dimensional plane. Right? So I'm just giving you a breakdown of the game as it happens. All right, this is me looking at this game over the last 25 years to 30 years. All right, I started teaching at 19 up on the Malachi's of York, Dr. York. I'm 46 now, so it's been 3 more years, 49. That'd be exactly 30 years. That I've been teaching. This information. So I had a very good teacher, and he wasn't the only one. Prince Ramses El-Bey, who was Crown Prince Hutan Tupac Bey of the Empire Washington. He's my personal teacher, as well as also Sunyata Saraswati. 10th degree black sash. He also was my personal teacher. He taught the left hand and right hand path of Tantra and Kriya Yoga. He combined them. All right, so these are the individuals who taught me, and I give them high praise, for being able to work with me and to get me to this level of consciousness. All right. All right. Any other questions before we go? If not, make sure y'all give me a call before Sunday to go through Reiki 2. Reiki 2, we will be going into the manual that I sent. All right. We sent the manual out a couple of weeks ago, in which that y'all should be reading. Make sure y'all get a chance to read that information. All right. Now, question is, how can you discern a spirit? All right. Number one, you have to guard yourself to make sure that only high energy comes through. That's how you discern a spirit on what's right and what's wrong. All right. I will use white light or either gold light. All right. If I use gold light, then I know that the only being that can get through is a higher being. Those beings I will be able to speak with and converse with in order to find out more information. A being that can't get through, is a lower being, a lower entity. They don't need to be in my presence. All right. Same thing with white. White has the ability to repel negative energy or negative spirits. So if they can't take the repelling, then they don't need to be in my presence. They need to be repelled. All right. So using those two particular colors help with you being able to discern a spirit, which taps you into 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, where actually one of the gifts of siddhas is the development of being able to discern spirits. You have also the gift of miracles, the gift of healing, the gift of speaking in tongues, the gift of interpreting tongues, the gift of knowledge, the gift of wisdom, the gift of understanding. These are the 9 fruits of Christ. All right, and you have all these abilities. It's just about opening up your chakras, which is called the 7 churches. Opening up your 7 churches or 7 chakras in order for you can gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, of who you actually are and your role here upon planet Earth. Yes, there's a correlation between the bodies and the birth chart. All 7 bodies to 9 bodies to 12 bodies, all right, correlates to the 12 zodiac signs. Okay. Now, normally you have the sign in which that is your birth sign that deals with the formation of your physical body. the one after that with your ethereal, the one after that with your astral, the one after that with your mental, the one after that with your causal, the one after that with your spiritual, and the one after that with your soul. Okay? When you take in homeopathic products, we talked about before that you take the homeopathic product for you, which is your sun sign, and then the 3 after also, which correlates to you being born actually 12 months instead of just 9 months. There's 3 months in which that the spirit comes in order to help the mother and father deal with the birth of the child. So oftentimes the mother or the father will actually see the child in birth. Well, before birth, I should say, in astral birth. Let me put it that way. And actually will see that child before the child manifests in the flesh. Especially if you name the child beforehand and have the name of the child already, and already know if it's a boy or a girl, they actually will come to you in order to reveal themselves, in order to tell you or show you if it's a boy or a girl. Okay, this has happened many, many, many times. All right, to people that I know as well, personally. All right, any other questions? Come on. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'm going to end the recording here, in class here. And we're going to come back Sunday. Everybody should then have part 1 and part 2 of the Reiki attunements. And that's what we're going to focus on. All right, so we'll see everybody here Sunday. All right, and wait for everyone to call me this week. Let me just say that for part 2 or part 1. All right. All right. Peace, everyone.